Please note, this podcast contains adult language, adult themes, adult coloring books, adult diapers. You get the drift. Listener discretion is advised. If you are looking for Haley and Sarah,
the resurrection of Rewind,
a hot mess Star Trek podcast,
snort laugh,
this is the podcast for you. Welcome to the next generation Rewind, the resurrection, not to be confused with insurrection or seat ejection or what. You know, hit it. Terrible already.
Nope. This is what the people like.
This is what they want. Oh my God. How are you? It is so good to see you. Welcome back. I'm happy to be back. Talk to me.
It's lovely to be back. It's lovely to see you. I am well. I don't know if we want to tell people why we took such a big break.
Haley was in prison, okay? And we thought it was for life plus 300 years, but good behavior. She was out in 5 months. I mean, that's some good behavior.
Look, I fucked around and found out. I got caught. What I planned on doing while I was in there was like getting my law degree, getting my clientele. I was also planning on being a gang leader, all of that stuff. Yes, I had aspirations. I had a strategic plan, a vision, mission, goals.
Risk analysis.
Yeah, they popped me right out of there when it turned out that Picard was premiering, last week. Mm-hmm. And here we are.
Good to be back in the real world. It's nice seeing you like this instead of with bars, baking you a file cake every other week. There's only you don't even like pie, so it was a really hard sell for me to get through the gates.
Well, you had to do a quiche that one time, and they just ate it. I don't know where
we're not going anywhere with this. Is there anything you do want to share with your life from the last little bit? Did you have a nice holiday? Have you traveled? Happy New Year.
Happy Halloween. I had a very shitty final quarter of 2022 that I won't go into. I will tell you a couple of TV shows that I've been enjoying.
Please.
They're not new. Forged in Fire.
Oh, on the History Channel or Discovery or whatever, when they make the swords. Yeah.
It will kill. We also got BritBox, which is a channel on Amazon Prime. And so I am just like deep into British police procedurals. And then I'm watching, in between, I'm watching like old episodes of The Simpsons. And I'm enjoying them as I did when I was younger, but I'm also getting like all of the references now that I'm an adult. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Right on.
Are you coming across some of those crazy predictions that people always talk about that happened in the real world? And they're like, oh my God, this was on The Simpsons like 15, 20 years ago.
Totally. In fact, Disney even went as far as like creating a compilation of all of the predictions that The Simpsons have done so far. So it's like, it's out there.
Oh man. That's awesome.
I wonder what they have in store for us for the rest of this year, because I don't know. The world is kind of scary right now, but that's okay.
A little bit of a hot mess, but our bubble is fine. My bubble is fine.
How is it? Tell me more.
Oh, well, good segue. Life is fine. The end of 2022 for me as well was just a little bit of a let's fucking move on and start fresh year. So far, so good. Went to Vancouver Fan Expo on the weekend, and let me tell you, what a time was had by the two of us. We get there on a Saturday and decide last minute, hey, there's a Canucks game tonight. They're playing the Philadelphia Flyers. They never play the Philadelphia Flyers in Vancouver. We should go. Playing around on Ticketmaster. Brad used to go to games all the time before we met. He was hardcore into hockey, and he's like, well, I've never sat front row before. I'm like, let's do it. So we got front row. We were like 3 seats away from the penalty box, right by where the green guys used to sit that always did all that, like, in their green suits. So that was a wild ride. Had a great time. And there was a proposal during the kiss cam. And there was also the actress from How I Met Your Mother, Colby She was in the Marvel films too, and I think she did that show Stumptown for I don't know. She's the Canadian. She played the Canadian on How I Met Your Mother. Anyway, people will
Was
might
she
know.
playing
Coldy
defense or
Sums. No,
was
she was
she
in one of
assistant
the.
captain?
She was. She was one of the refs. She did good, held her own. And then we went to Vancouver Fan Expo. And I didn't know it was a 3 day event. And I just bought tickets for the Sunday with no knowing of who for sure was going to be on stage that day. I just knew the Star Trek folks were going to be there Sunday, Monday, because they were in Portland doing the Fan Expo. At least some of them were, right? So I just took a gamble and said, Sunday's the day to go. So I got to see Michael Rooker on stage first thing. And he was in The Walking Dead, Merle, and he was in Days of Thunder. And he's the blue guy in Guardians of the Galaxy. And he came out with a lightsaber
Oh my
and
gosh.
he started calling up people in the audience who had lightsabers onto the stage so that they could fight. And let me tell you, you walk in, like you pay the ticket, and there's like the tables and stuff for like, I want to have my lunch, and here's some of the vendors with food. And then there's just like rows of chairs, and then the stage. Like, take STLV and remove 90% of the seating and the people, and that's what it is. So I sat front row to see Anson and Ethan on stage. And I sat like fourth row and saw the kid who played Neville Longbottom in Harry Potter. So
Who cares what his name is in real life? We don't
Matthew
care.
Lewis? Not
That
Matthews.
sounds
I don't
right.
know. Let's go for it. Sir Matthew. I don't know. They're all knighted over there. So, but I wanted to get my autographs done because I was kind of like, this is where my ADHD came out really bad. And even Brad called me on it. He's like, your ADHD is acting up. I'm like, I'm overstimulated. Okay. Because we get there, it opens at 10. And I'm like, okay, well, there's no signage up about what time autographs are. And that was my main priorities. I wanted to get the two autographs. That was it. And then I look at the table and people are already lining up for Frakes, Gates, and Brent. No one's lining up for Anson and Ethan. There's nothing on the signage or anything like that. So I just kind of stand around. We do like we wander the shop, like all the people selling stuff. I didn't see anything I needed. So
Okay.
checked back. And then there was like a guy there. I'm like, what's the ETA? They're like, oh, well, it was supposed to be 10, but it's probably going to be like a half hour from now. I'm like, okay. And then Michael Rooker's on stage at this time. So I was like, okay, what do we got to do? I'm like, Brad, do you want to go back and make Caesars or do we want to stay here? What do you want to do? He's like, whatever you want to do. I don't care. I'll stand with you. I'm like, okay. He wouldn't leave me alone because he didn't trust
we
me.
had a fucking spreadsheet.
I know.
We had a spreadsheet.
I need times for everything.
Yes.
So either way, I was first in line for my autograph with Ethan. Nerd. And I was like unprepared for one-on-one time because STLV, it is like
they tell you
they people will physically push you to get the fuck out of the way for the next person. Like,
so you're not allowed to talk. You can't engage.
I picked out my 8x10. It's a photo that's got all three. It's got Rebecca Romaine in there as well for the photo. And I gave the woman my money. And then he's like, hi, I'm Ethan. And I'm like, hi, I'm Sara. He's like, what was that? He's smiling because I was so nervous. I couldn't even say my own fucking name while I'm shaking his hand. I'm like, it's Sara. I was like, fuck my life already. I lost it. And I can feel Brad's eyes in the back of my head. He's pretending he's playing on his phone, but he's like keeping an eye on me to make sure I don't do anything stupid. And I was just like, what do I say? So I was like, oh, I'm really glad that you came to this convention. I saw you at Vegas and it's such a big convention that this is so much more my speed. And he's like, oh, you were there? And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, that's a crazy convention. Like, it's so busy. I'm like, yeah, it was crazy. Are you going to be there again? Like, did you like it? And he's like, yeah, we'll be filming season 3. Totally going to go. And he's like, where are you from? Are you from here? And I'm like, no, I live on the island in Victoria. I just came over for the weekend, went to a hockey game. I'm like telling him my whole weekend plans.
Yeah.
Like he gives a shit. He's just like, but he's so nice and he's nodding and like smiling and like being really receptive. And I'm still like, you're still talking to me. He hasn't even started writing yet. And then he looks down, he's like, oh, so do you want me to make this out to you? And I'm like, no, just your name. He's like, well, you want to put that? It's also Spock. And I'm like, sure, why not? Like, go for it. Whatever you want to do.
Gonna sell on eBay.
He's trying to get the right pen. And then I was like, just don't spell Spock wrong. That'd be really awkward. He's like, is that a dare? And I was like, like, I just pissed myself. Like, I'm dying. Then he shook my hand again and was like, it was nice meeting you. And I was like, bye. Like, I was like, I almost felt like I was trying to rush him. Like, can we just get my autograph and fucking go already? Because like, there's 3 people behind me. Obviously, you got a lineup. And I was like, fuck. So I was just like, so like, if you thought my ADHD was bad before, like, it's just like my anxiety was right. I'm just flying after this. So we run back to the hotel, make some Caesars, run back because we're like 5 minutes away. Watch Michael Rooker sitting there drinking Caesars in our coffee cups. And then after that, we went to Cactus Club for lunch and get Brad a beer. And I had another Caesar. And then we found out that Anson Mount was running late from his flight. So we went back, saw Matthew, what's his face, on stage. And then Anson was there. And I was like, maybe an hour. I stood in line for an hour because he was running late again. Oh my God, I felt so bad for him. He came out with a cookie in his mouth and a cup of coffee. He looked exhausted. He's a new dad too. So he's probably not only like exhausted from the fan expo, but just like, there's no sleep for this guy. And he sits down just looking wrecked, and people go through, and he's opposite of Ethan. He's kind of like just I just want to get this over with. Like, this is, fair enough. And I came up and I was like, oh, I just wanted to say thank you for volunteering your time to do the Trek Talks too with the Feed the Hollywood Food Coalition. Like, it's really, I'm part of the Trek Geeks podcast network, and Bill and Dan were really excited to have the chance to interview you. And he's like, well, it's not hard for the people to do these things. And I'm like, well, not at all. Like, I hope you will come back. He's like, absolutely. He's like, it was a great event. Like, it was a good fundraiser. And he's like, thanks for coming over and saying hi. And I'm like, no problem. And then I got his autograph. And then
I paid for this opportunity.
And then I folded it all up in my bag and crunched it. And fucking so like, just Brad's like, are you okay? Do you want me to get you a new one? I'm like, I'm not upset about it. I'm just fucking embarrassed. Like, all I did was hold it gently, and then I'm packing the next year. And I was like, it's fine. There's some creases. It gives it character, whatever. But then they went on stage, and how at every convention, and I'm sorry if I offend somebody who is this person, but how at every convention when they do the Q&A, there's always that one person in full costume that tries to be the first person, and they ask the same question of every celebrity, thinking it's really funny. Yeah. So this person was like Captain Omega was their thing. I don't know what they were, but I don't know who they were. And they're like, what is your favorite dessert? And the person sitting next to me, she's like, oh, this guy again, right? Obviously, he's asked every celebrity this. And Anson Mount said something French that I'd never heard of.
Croquembouche.
And sure. Maybe it was that. I want to say it started with an F, but I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention because I was already shaking my head of like, do I leave? Yeah. I'm front row and I'm ready to fucking walk out of here. And the guy's like, what was that? What was that? And he keeps repeating himself. He's like, describe. He's like, no, what is wrong with you? Like, oh my God. And so Ethan just cuts. He's like, I like ice cream. I like Rocky Road, and I like mint chocolate chip. And he's like, Anson was like just not having any of it. He was like, what the hell is your problem? Like, I was awesome. We were like, both of us were snickering so hard. Like, cause he was just kind of like, this is my day right now. Like, I'm so tired. Now I got Captain Omega. He kept making jokes about Captain Omega, like throughout the thing, but they were great and he starts chuckling to himself. Like, he couldn't hold it in. He was like losing it. He was like one step away. Like, I hope there was something in his coffee to keep him going, but they were great on stage, and there were some good questions, and I don't know. They just seemed like the two of them, like good cop, bad cop. It was really funny. So I really enjoyed that. And then after that was the end of the day. And that was like at 3:30. We were like, sweet, we have the rest of the day to party. So we went shopping, spent some money at the Adidas store.
Yay.
And then we went for dinner at we went to this really great ramen place. So we just snuck in before it got crazy and had some delicious ramen. And then we went for cocktails at, where did we go? Oh, we went back to Cactus Club because we really wanted to have an Aperol Spritz. And we saw somebody ordering them earlier.
Everywhere.
Yeah, but we were like, it's somewhere where we know. We didn't want to go to some swank. It was so busy downtown in Vancouver. We had reservations, right? So we couldn't get in anywhere.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's family day weekend, right? So like we barely got a seat in at Cactus Club like late at night, and plus it was close to our hotel. So, and then we went to the Tap and Barrel, which is like a pub right there too, and had a drink there.
So good.
Yeah, so it was great, and I got my crinkled 8x10, super stoked, and now I'm going to take it with me to the next STLV I go to get Rebecca Romais, and I'll have the triple threat. The hat
like trick. Unwrap it, like you're just like uncrinkle it. Can you sign that?
Just turns to dust. Other than that, TV shows I've been watching has been I just rewatched Succession so I could be ready for season 3. Just finished up Hunters, which was amazing, and Yellowstone I'm caught up on. I've been starring H&A3 with LaMonica Garrett, and fucking Oak Island. I fucking hate that show. They still haven't found anything but a couple of buttons, and I'm that's my life. It's like season 10.
How big is this island? Like
It's not that big.
and it's underneath, right? Like
Yeah, they
they're
built this
digging.
tunnel shaft and now they've actually professionally built it so they can go in it and they're finding traces of gold. They found a cross that's Roman or like a coin that's Roman. It's like thousands of years old and they're like, why is this here? And then they
Yeah, that
find
doesn't make any sense.
it's crazy. It's
Is it
interesting, but it's
haunted?
no, but they say it's cursed because people have died
So the
and
curse of
curse
Oak
of
Island.
Oak Island, right? So
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Christ.
okay.
Christ on a cracker.
Wait, I have an interesting tidbit to share in terms of like world things that are scary, like Oak
Love
Island.
it.
There is a cave somewhere in Africa. I want to hold on. I'm going to find it.
There's
Here
like
it is.
50 countries there, so let's figure out which one.
Yeah, it's in Kenya.
Oh.
And so it's a cave in Kenya that is home to a bunch of different species that likes to incubate hantavirus or maybe it's not hantavirus, the hemorrhagic fever viruses. So like
Oh, like Ebola.
Ebola, the new one.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this cave just fucking boarded up.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like
Yeah.
people they can't go in there because it's so fucking dangerous. It's one of the most dangerous places on earth because of these viruses, which I get. Like that new virus outbreak, 88% fatality rate.
What
Fuck
virus?
no. I don't.
What
It's
now?
okay. It's not coming to us probably, but it's like new virus outbreak. Ma ma.
Mushrooms like in The Last of
Oh
Us or
God, I hope not. Africa. It's not even Equatorial Guinea
Oh.
Marburg virus.
Oh,
Okay, so
great.
anyway, it's bad news.
Bad news bears.
Yeah, but
Don't get it.
they're trying to figure it out. Don't get it. There's no treatment. There's no vaccine. Anyway,
I just watched the third episode of Last of Us with the guy from Parks and Recreation.
yeah.
It was a good episode. I did really like it, but sometimes those standalone episodes that don't really move the plot can slow me down. But I did like, and that was the guy from the first season of White Lotus. The two of them,
Was
they
it
were,
him?
yeah,
Are you
I'm
sure?
almost positive. It looked
Because
like him.
we were looking at him. I'm like, it looks like the guy from White Lotus, but I don't
Yeah,
think it is.
I
Oh,
think it
okay,
is.
maybe it is. I didn't
Yeah.
do any other.
It's a good show
Uh,
though, because I think I watched the first episode and I was like, yeah, I was into it, but then, we don't get to sit down and watch TV until like 8 or 8:30, and we're usually like half asleep at that point. So,
yeah.
if we put on something like Succession or whatever, we're lucky if we make it through an episode.
Yeah.
And like Brad fell asleep watching the first episode of The Last of Us, and is The Last of Us, right? That right?
Yeah.
And then I put on the second episode yesterday, and it was a bit of a slow start, but then it started going, and I was like, oh, okay, like this is good. I mean, I love zombie stuff, so there's no reason why I
Mhm.
wouldn't like this. It's just that I have to be awake and alert.
Yeah.
And now we're obsessed. At least I am. I mean, Brad is too, with the sports
Mhm.
documentary series on Netflix. Like we watch the Formula One. I have every Formula One race in my calendar, so I can watch. It starts like next week in Bahrain because we
Are you
watched the
kidding?
series, like the five seasons of it,
No,
and
like,
then I
are you
watched the.
joking? No, are
No,
you
I'm
joking
not
right
joking. No,
now?
I'm
What?
not joking.
You like
Yeah.
Formula One?
Oh my God. Now that I've watched the series and I know who's who and what's up, I'm like, oh, I'll watch this.
Isn't it
Um,
just racing in a big ass circle?
it's more than that. It's like NASCAR, but
Is
for
it?
like the ultra rich, and like they go so fast. It's insane.
Oh,
This meeting is going to end in 10 minutes, so we'll have to deke out
yeah,
and
that's
come back
fine.
in. And then there's the golf one that just came out that is so good. And then there's a tennis one. And now I'm like, bring on the curling, bring on the volleyball, bring on the sports that I like. Like, let's do this. Dodgeball.
Really?
Yeah, they're really good because it's like the drama of these people. Like it's like selling Sunset, but it's
Okay.
sports, and
Oh,
you get a glimpse into like who these uber elite athletes are, and some of them are the total like rich bros, some of them are like the underdog, and then they have fighting between them, and they have all the. It's really good. I highly recommend them.
okay. Well, I didn't even know about them.
All right. Well, before we decide to turn this off and start a new one because of Zoom, let's give a shout out to Fansets.
Love you,
Attention.
Santa.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no. I was just doing a dramatic pause for no reason other than I'm just really enjoying this moment. Attention, all shoppers. we have a 10% discount sale in aisle 5, aisle fan sets. Am I funny or what? Folks, we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, Fansets, for sticking with us, being awesome, and continuing to create amazing pins. What is it now? It's over 400 licensed Star Trek pins to choose from. The list is endless, and they're always bringing out rad new product. They have a whole Delta pin section now. Peanut Hamper from Lower Decks, Grudge the Cat from Disco, Lower Decks, Prodigy. It's incredible. So go to fansets.com. Peanut Hamper. Love Peanut Hamper. Go to fansets.com, load up your cart, type in Trek Geeks, all caps, no spaces, to get 10% off your entire order. How does it go?
Fansets. Our pins have character. Over 400 pins.
Over 400 pins.
Been killing it.
They have been killing it.
That's amazing.
Speaking of killing it, Zoom's going to kill us right now. So I'm going to just close this out and start a new one.
Call me back.
All right. Bye.
You don't. Can't believe she said that about Formula One. Bye.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
3 months later. Here's time gap. So it's now over 700 pins that we watched an episode a long time ago. We have a synopsis. So you did a synopsis ages ago, and then I picked it up and did it just recently. So
yeah,
why don't you start us off, please?
Yeah. So the episode is Genesis. God, it had been a long time since I had seen that one, because that, like, I'll tell you, yeah, exactly. I don't like being scared, and this is a scary one. Okay, here we go. Sick bay. Riker is getting spikes pulled out of him after he was rolling around in the Arboretum with some side piece. Reg is there too, convinced he has a terminal condition. God, that guy, he just seems like a lot of work. I still love him though.
I love him.
Data comes in with a pregnant Spot. I have one question. What? I thought Spot was a boy cat. Also, didn't these people watch The Price is Right, where Bob Barker pleads with people to get your pet spayed or neutered? If there are all these cats and dogs in the future, then what was the point of him saying that? I don't care that Drew Carey still says it. It's not the same. On the bridge, they're testing out Worf's new photon torpedoes. Worf is like, I made it better and more accurate. And then the torpedoes stop working, and Picard decides to take a shuttle to track it down or something. In Data's quarters, Reg is obsessing over Spot. Of course, he's a cat guy. And he's very concerned with where Spot will have her kittens, and oddly chooses a space for her. Like, that is so, like, back off, dude. That's not your cat. Like,
it's all about the pussy.
Sarah.
Just disclaimer.
Yeah, it's true. Back on the bridge, Worf is singing "Don't Stand So Close to Me" by the Police in his head, and accidentally blurts out one of the lyrics to Riker. I guess he says, "Don't stand so close to me."
He loves the Police.
Or it's, or maybe, I'm not even going to go into it. Then Worf and Deanna are in 10 forward, and she's appalled by Worf's behavior. And then John is appalled by Worf's pathetic burp. Have him drink a Coke or something first, jeez. Worf takes off to his quarters to rest his agitated self. Cutting to Worf's quarters, he is thrashing in bed and rips his covers off instead of just like throwing them on the floor. You don't have to be so fucking dramatic.
Klingons.
His hair is long and wild. He tears apart his bedding to make a nest on the floor and then falls asleep. In engineering,
every night.
This is me. Like,
night terrors.
It's disruptive.
We experienced it to each other when we went to Vegas together. Every night, one of us. We had to move to 4 different rooms.
In engineering, Reg is tweaking out. I hope he doesn't try to dismantle the Enterprise and put it back together again. It sounds like I was having a good day that day. On the bridge, Deanna is sitting in the captain's chair, shivering and fighting with Worf over environmental controls. Newsflash, woman cold. She gets up to go have a bath. In a Jeffries tube, Reg and Geordi identify a substance that could be causing some issues or something. I don't know. I wasn't watching. Back on the bridge, Riker has memory problems. Oh no! Yeah, I like how I just jump around. Oh no! In her quarters, Troy is in the bath in her clothes. Wet clothing fetish people are pleased. It's a thing. It's a thing. Like, we could make money if we just shower in our clothes.
It'd be like the Naked Now when the people were frozen wearing clothes in the shower.
Yeah.
Throwback to our first episode.
Oh, Christ, I don't think I could ever. Anyway, Worf comes in and tries to get Troy out of the water, and he bites her. I know.
What?
Initially, it looks like a little flesh wound, but Crusher stitched up like half her cheek.
Oh.
And John goes, Worf should be in jail. Why isn't he restrained? Is he restrained? He is not restrained.
He is not.
Crusher sees a growth on Worf's neck that she thinks might be a venom sac. Fucking gross. She asks him to open his mouth. John yells, eye protection. Worf opens his mouth and something comes out that knocks Crusher over. John called it. In the senior officer meeting room off the bridge, Reg continues to tweak out. Riker is exhausted and the nurse is also tired. Geordi comes in and he's like, I'm calling for a level 2 peanut butter alert. Now, that's a throwback to Tourette's Guy, if anyone ever watched Tourette's Guy back in the early 2000s. Anyway, I mean security alert. I have 4 minutes remaining in my synopsis and notice that I am out of salt and vinegar chips. Then Riker's like, you'll just go ahead and take care of that? And Geordi's like, yeah. Riker tries to relay a message to Starfleet, but he can't remember his authorization to do so. Have a nap.
Yeah.
Like,
work-life balance, man.
Exactly. Picard and Data are heading back to the Enterprise in their shuttle, but they aren't able to, find the Enterprise. But then they do find them.
Upside down and inside out.
And they see that the ship is kind of floating in space, adrift, one might say. Data can pick up life signs, but they're distorted. Picard gets ready to dock manually to the ship. In the shuttle bay, Picard and Data find that the ship is in standby mode. A distant growl is heard down the hall. Data says he can pick up 300 different animal noises. They find a giant condom and think it is an epidermal layer from a reptile. John goes, is it Gorn? I have no idea what's going on. I have the biggest smile because he is in for such a treat, and so am I. End of part 1.
All right. Thank you. Oh, that was so good.
It was fun.
Because I literally didn't watch the first half of the episode. I zoomed right to my part, and I was like, yes.
Hilarious.
I wanted to enjoy your synopsis because I hadn't seen the episode in a long time.
Perfect.
All right. Part 2. The saga continues.
Oh, wait. This works for me because I did not finish the episode, so now I get to find out what
enjoy.
happens.
Okay, well, and then John's got to listen, so he knows what happens.
He always does.
Excellent. Hi.
Hi, babe.
Okay. Picard and Data find questionable liquid on the door to Troy's quarters. They let themselves in. They don't knock. They don't wait a hot minute. It's as humid as when I stepped off the plane in Houston, Texas, wearing jeans and a hoodie. Did I just pee myself, or is that sweat? Troy is face down in the tub, and she's got gills. I'm into it. Did Lieutenant Longbottom give her gillyweed, perhaps? HP reference. Good. Troy is sporting a love bite from a Klingon, and just like my bathtub, there is hair everywhere. They leave Troy, future continuity error, and get to the bridge, and poor red shirt guy is dead at the helm with slashes in his chest. No. Can I just say, this must be a hard episode to watch if you don't believe in evolution. Am I right?
Okay. True.
Now, Data and Picard find Riker. He's trying to get to the fish in Picard's ready room. His brow is prominent, and he needs to see a dentist and a barber. He's giving Picard the finger subtly. Did you see that? He can't communicate with his tiny brain, so they stun him naturally.
Classic.
Picard and Data continue to wander around. They find Barclay as a gross half spider, Captain Arachnia, and Worf begins to hunt them. And yet the kittens that Spot was going to have are totally okay. What? There's a mystery here, folks. Now Picard is infected, and he's definitely scared of Worf. He sounds very angry. It's very cute to see. Worf is determined to get into sickbay because that's where his boo is. That's where Troy, his lizard lady, is. We thought she left her in her room, but no, she's in sickbay. Worf can smell her, trying to get at her. Picard is all fidgety and scared, and it's really fun to watch. The acting! All right. Brilliantly, they decide to take Troy's pheromones Troy's own axe spray and spray it around to try and like lure Worf away from her because she's obviously defenseless and like under, the doctor's some doctors care or just I don't or they just throw her on the floor. I don't know. She's in the sick bay. Then they like lure him to like a Jeffries tube and just electrocute the poor guy. He was just looking for some loving, but apparently that gets you electrocuted on the ship. Data does his usual like, oh, I'm an android and I'm not affected, so I can think. And he thinks, oh, the kittens. Oh, Nurse Ogawa is pregnant. Maybe the amniotic fluid or something is, something like that. I don't know. They figured it out that that's the way to fix it. The crew is returned to normal, and the synthetic T cell used to cure Barclay is what caused the mutation. They're going to name it after him. Barclay's protomorphosis syndrome. It has a nice ring to it. Yeah, he's adorable. The end.
What a legacy for Barclay.
Right? He's got his own disease. Not too shabby. It really is a front heavy episode because you have so much of the mystery, and then once it's like they're running amok, it's kind of like action of like, okay, this is scary. They never do scary episodes. And when Barclay like goes against the glass and he's got all those eyes, oh my god, it's so gross. I love it.
I am so glad I didn't finish it.
Yeah.
I hate those things.
I know. What did you think though of the episode? You're glad you didn't finish it because it's scary, but what else?
Yeah, like it definitely scared me as a child, and that's probably why I didn't want to keep watching it anyway.
Like Skin of Evil.
What one's that one?
The one where Tasha Yar dies, the big tar monster.
Oh, fuck that. Fuck that. That actually, you know what? I'm gonna fucking bring that up to my therapist because that is like one of my like fucking core memories, the Tar Man. And like, I don't know. As a child, I really had blurred lines between what's real and what's not. And the Tar Man, it's not real though.
Oh, allegedly.
No,
not.
But you don't know. Anyway, he's probably
don't go looking for scary podcasts. And don't go chasing waterfalls.
Anyway, I did enjoy watching the beginning. You're right, it is a front-loaded episode where all the exciting stuff kind of happens at the beginning, and then I can only presume is just like a going to the zoo for the rest.
Well, it's just typical, like Data's unaffected, so Data's going to solve the mystery, and Picard's getting all twitchy, and it's kind of you're being chased by Worf.
Also,
it's just another day on the ship.
Like, I don't think that my technical manual has any of the policies of Starfleet in it, but Picard sure fucking takes off in the shuttle a lot.
Where's he going? What's he doing?
Why does he have to go? Why does he have to go?
He's worse than Captain Kirk. He's always down on the damn stay put. Yeah. You're important.
Well, look what happens when he takes off.
I know.
Well, anyway.
Mischief.
What did you think about it?
I love it. It's one of my favorite episodes. It's scary. There's not a lot of scary episodes out there, so I like that just because I like scary. I love the idea of the de-evolving and how it's all everyone's so different. Lizards and whatever. I definitely found that the Worf opening his mouth thing was probably one of the most shocking scenes in the series. Like it was scary. Like that and the spider. I'm just like, whoa, you're getting some jumps. And just it's a bit of fun acting for the actors because they get to be unlike themselves. They get to be all twitchy and scared and animal-like and growly and gulping for air. I don't know. It was cool. That's all I got.
You deal with change better than I do. I just don't like. I don't like things to be upset.
Yeah, I understand. Don't upset the apple cart.
That's it.
Okay, let's go to Internet Movie Database and take the work that they did for us so we don't have to do anymore and just share some fun trivia and some fast facts and some goofs. Why don't you start us off, friend? Best friend.
Oh, BFF. FL.
FL. I don't know. Go. I could just keep going.
Yeah, me too. This is, as people know, this is the only TNG episode directed by a female cast member, namely Gates McFadden. Whoa. The main reason Beverly's out of action for most of the episode is so she could devote more time to directing, like when Frakes first started directing back in the third season. And I love Frakes' direction. Like, anytime I watched some of the newer episodes of like Enterprise or even Voyager, I was like, oh, this is has the feeling of Frakes behind the camera, and it always was. He's so good.
Side note, one of the fan questions to Anson was asking if he'd ever be interested in directing an episode. And he was so adamant about, like, I don't like it when actors decide to start directing. This is not the time or place. You're a professional. Stick to your job. You don't need to take everybody on a ride just because you want to experiment with being a director. So, no, I will never look to do directing while I'm working on this show. And then they looked at Ethan. He's like, I might try it.
Like,
I'll give it a shot.
Rocky Road. Like, yeah. It sounds like Anson was, well, whatever. I mean,
it was funny.
Also, he's new to the scene, and he can do all he wants. But like, does he? I wonder if he likes Star Trek too. Like, I wonder, like,
yeah, he does. He is a huge TOS fan.
Oh, okay.
He was a huge. Somebody asked about, like, did they watch a lot of Star Trek, and he's like, oh, I grew up on it. It was one of my favorite shows.
Okay,
like,
good.
Yeah. I think it was more the point he was trying to make is, like, if you're already an established director, then by all means, like, Frakes, like, go for it. But if you're like the person who's like, I've never wanted to direct, but somebody just said, do you want to try? It's like, sometimes because you want to, like, experiment doesn't mean you should take everybody along for the ride, because it's like it could be disruptive, I bet, if you're really bad at it.
Well, and I've never quite understood the logistics of directing yourself. So I will default to Anson.
Yeah.
I'm not an actor. I'm not a director.
I think he's probably just really intimidated by Frakes because Frakes is a freaking genius.
He's
at everything
like
he does.
A triple threat.
He's
hilarious. He's nice. He's a good director. What else do you need?
I love him.
Yeah.
He is amazing. He looked really good too everyone did.
Good.
Gates looked, oh God. Anyway. This is the first episode since her promotion that Counselor Troi is seen in command in a duty shift on the bridge.
Oh.
Cool.
Do you think she has the training?
She'd have to. Starfleet's military. They're not going to just, well.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair. Worf's venom can apparently melt through the floor, but it does not dissolve Picard's hand when it spills onto it.
That's because he's made of tougher stuff than that, Picard. During this scene in 10 Forward where an angry Worf is eating ravenously, Michael Dorn was not wearing his prosthetic Klingon teeth.
Oh, no.
I have been known to eat much like that if I'm really hungry and it's wing night.
Oh.
I'm just saying. I'm not holding back. If you don't like it, fucking sit somewhere else.
This is it. My brother and his girlfriend gave me their air fryer because they got a bigger one for Christmas. And like, I'm like, what the fuck? So I haven't used it until last night at 10 p.m. when I was like, kind of want some fries. And then I made them and it was perfect.
Oh my God. It's like, it changes your life. It's great for wings. Oh my God.
Oh, good to know. Okay, cool. While having been a male,
here you go.
While having been a male cat in most appearances, Spot is female in Genesis. She was already shown as a female in Next Generation Force of Nature, but this time the cat's female gender is crucial to the plot. That's true.
Yeah, no shit.
But was it, having not watched the rest of the episode?
I don't pay that close attention to the pets.
No, me neither. And especially like one that, how did she get pregnant?
Because she got loose on this ship and there was another cat on the ship.
There's another cat. That's right. That's why I said the spay and neuter. See it or skip it.
See it. It's one of the few scary episodes. It's the last season, so you have to watch them all, no matter how bad they are. Masks.
Yeah.
Sub Rosa.
We all wear masks. Oh, Sub Rosa. God, any of the beginning ones that we did. Yeah, as much as I am afraid of the episode, it's so unique, and everyone knows what you're talking about when you mention Genesis. So,
yeah,
I guess see it.
Would you rather de-evolve into a turkey or a sloth?
You know what? I would love to be a sloth. I don't move slow enough, and I think that I would really benefit, and my mental health would benefit from just moving a lot slower.
Just take your time.
You?
Where you gotta go.
Turkeys can't fly.
No, but they're pretty funny when they run. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Yeah, I don't want to be a turkey. I think I'd make a great turkey.
I think you would be a great turkey and I'd be a great sloth, and we could have a really good podcast.
Oh my God, we'd have a relationship that everyone that went viral on TikTok because like when animals get along that don't usually get along, it'd be great.
Look at that turkey run.
Look at that turkey sloth team.
Look at that
Turkey
sloth
and the
taking
sloth.
it easy.
He's just sitting on the back of the turkey having a nap.
Oh, that sounds great.
This is our future. There's a
Yeah.
t-shirt there, I think.
Oh,
Rewind. This is a picture of a turkey and a sloth. A sloth riding a turkey. If you don't get it, you just haven't listened to the podcast. We have a new section on this podcast called Rewind, and this section is called Fast Forward. Please note, going forward, there will be discussion of season 3, episode 1 of Picard. So if you don't want spoilers, please stop now and tune in next week.
yeah. Also, I don't think that we're going to be referencing any previous Picard episodes, but if we do, they're spoiler alert. I don't know.
Yeah, just don't listen if you don't want to listen.
Mom and Dad,
if you don't like Picard, you just like TNG, then fuck off. Like, that's fine.
That's fine. Just like skip ahead or don't even listen.
You don't have to listen to the closeout. You know how it goes. Listen to an old episode. It's the same closing. It's exactly the same. Okay. You watched it.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think?
Well,
episode 1.
Yeah, I mean, this is like us manifesting another season of TNG, essentially.
It's season 8, right?
We've done it.
Like, movies don't count. This is season 8.
So here are my thoughts. I giggled after every line Riker said, just because he's like, oop, and he's also like so cute and funny and sweet. Like, he's like so appalled by like the way Seven's treated Picard. I'm like, no, it's all right. They know each other. Anyway, there was a really shitty cut between 2 scenes. I don't remember the scenes, but it, like, people will know what I'm talking about. Like, it was a really weird cut. It made no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have a question. Can you please confirm for me? Is Picard an AI? Like, is he in a he's in a body of an AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
like his consciousness was transferred because he died at the end of season 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And John's like, why would he pick that body?
You could be anything you want. I'll just be myself.
I want to be a sloth.
Well, because that was still the thing about synths were still like considered bad, and so
that's true. He wanted to hide it. Yeah.
And but Laris is still Laris. She's still, because she like fell in love with him and then took off when he had to go save the world, and he was like, I can't love you because I'm flawed, and she's like, get over it, and he's like, okay. So now they're kind of like boning.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember that she took off. Okay, that's perfect.
I think she just kind of like, they had like an excuse for like, I said I love you and you don't really say it back, so I gotta go. And that was kind of the
and now
2.
They're like together, but like not immediately.
But not really yet. Like, it's kind of like baby steps.
Yeah, I'll meet you at the cafe on or Orion 5 or whatever.
Go find your ex-lover.
Yeah. Crusher's hair, like she is me in my goth phase, or she is who I wanted to be in my goth phase. Like,
oh my God, she's a total babe. 72, 73 years old. I mean, fuck.
No, she's not.
Mm-hmm. She's a year older than my dad.
What?
Yeah, I think she was born in 1949. She's like 73 years old.
I don't understand the passage of time. Okay. Who the fuck is her other son? How do I sign up for a family reunion? Just kidding. But who is the other son in
Wesley?
Bio Dad. Yeah.
Well, I can't tell you. I've seen the first 6 episodes. I know a lot about the show, and I cannot say anything.
Holy shit. Also,
but you will get an answer.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I loved it. It felt I was very kind of like manically excited.
I know.
Just because I was like, these are my people. These are like my family that I grew up with.
This is exactly it. Yeah.
How did you feel about Captain Shaw?
I loved him. When I first watched it, like the first time I watched it, I was like, who's this dick? This guy's a fucking asshole. But I live with somebody who's a lot like Liam Shaw. And I have moments of being a lot like Liam Shaw where it's like, I get you guys are important, but this is my ship. and I'm risk adverse, so I'm not going to go on some adventure because I know who you guys are and I respect you, but you're fucking notorious and not on my watch. I work with people like him. I get it. It's the same thing when people get really jacked up about like people got really mad about like Barkley or Tig Notaro's character on Discovery, or even that one little one off with the guy from Bob's Burgers with the tribbles. And people are like, you would never get away with having people like that in Starfleet. I'm like, yes, you would. There's weird, eccentric, different
There
people
are.
everywhere. And people like, if you think about Starfleet is military, PTSD, stress, anxiety, it's going to manifest in different ways. Maybe you're going to be snippy. Maybe you're going to be awkward. Maybe you're going to be uncomfortable. And I think it's okay to have flawed, sarcastic asshole characters because I sure work with a lot of them myself and I am one half the time. So that's why I kind of looked at Shaw and I was like, yeah, he's a dick and I wouldn't want to be seven working for him, but I can kind of get it. Like, and I just thought the acting was really good. Like it just he was enough of a dick, but made some good points. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be an interesting character to watch.
Very well said. And I agree with you. Like at first I was like, who the fuck is this guy? It's like when in Disco they had like the first F bomb and I'm like, that's not Star Trek. Fuck you. That's not Star Trek. I don't like that. Um, but you're right. Like he did. He was like, I love you guys, but no. Like
Yeah.
you're not even like you're an admiral and you're a captain without a ship.
Times
Like,
have changed, and
yes, you
no
can't
matter
like
how
gallivant around the galaxy.
yeah, no matter how fancy you are, no matter how great, like someone needs to put you in your place once in a while. And it's no different
Yeah.
than with celebrity or rich people today. Like at some point, someone has to draw a line and be like, look, I get it, not on my watch, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was actually a good it adds an element to the show that's giving it depth. It's not just them getting whatever they want and getting away with it because at some
True.
point, like, he keeps joking, we're gonna get court-martialed for this. Like, we shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't, but they're like, how much fun are you having? Like they're two like retired cowboys going for one last ride. Like it's like you gotta have roadblocks, otherwise it's too easy.
Yeah, you're right. And
Yeah. So I
and
kind of
with
liked it.
yeah. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. It needs to be a little bit more realistic in that they can't just do whatever they want.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's any new character, you're always gonna be like, who's this guy?
Yeah,
Why are
that's
you
true.
at the family reunion and I'm not? Like, who's this guy?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
how
yeah.
come you
Who
get
are
to be there
you?
and I don't? Who's the rest of this crew on your ship? There's bald people. There's like, who are these people? I don't like them, but they're good.
Yeah.
I like Captain Liam Shaw and I like the actor. He's been really engaged with people on social media and he's really excited about it. So I think that's kind of cool too. I
Nice.
loved Riker's just references to being old, like the bunk beds. How embarrassing is this? He's like, I have to get up and pee all the time, and then like my
Yeah.
knees hurt, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is so relatable. Like I love that, and I
If we don't have
love
to shoot or run, we'll be good. Like, oh,
yeah, and Geordie's daughter, LaForge, piloting the
lovely.
ship. Love that. Great reference. Rafi, I was like, oh my God, she's falling through the cracks. And then the moment that she pulls out her thing and she's like, secret, Starfleet
Information
undercover. I'm like, yes, she's not like,
undercover information officer. I know. I was
boom,
like,
boom.
oh, yeah,
Like,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, John.
So
John was like, I bet she's feeding information to Starfleet. I'm like, we'll find out. She
we
looks
will
pretty
find out.
brutal. And then
Yeah.
yeah. And then she was like, secret undercover information gathering officer mission report. And I was like, oh, all right, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought it was a great first episode. I love the use of music. I mean, it opened up with the Ink Spots singing that beautiful song, I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire. I mean, they just have good music sporadically through Star Trek now, which I just kind of really like as somebody who loves music. Yeah, it was a solid first episode. I love the scene at the bar, and they're like, "How come no one wants to buy the fat one, the ship? The Enterprise D. Oh, nobody wants to buy the fat one." And like they sell like the ships and like the drinks and like and the two of them are just so out of touch. Like, young lady, that was a Galaxy class ship, and it's like, oh my God, they're really playing into the fact that like Starfleet and the universe moved on, and they're out of touch. Like Picard's
Oh
like, "How come
no, and so am
the ship
I.
doesn't do this?" And she's like, "The ships are better now." Like Seven is saying that to him, and it's like, oh God, it makes me so sad because they're old, but it's also like so adorable.
It is like
And it's so
it
realistic.
is.
It'd be no different than if we both left government and then we came back in 30 years and we're like, how do you use this computer? Like, what is this app now? Teams 4000. I can't figure out this. Like, there's a virtual headset. Like,
What's the
people are,
niter?
I can smell, yeah, what's the niter? But yeah, I
I
thought it was awesome. I'm excited. Tomorrow is episode 2, Thursday. Oh, no, tomorrow's Wednesday.
no, no,
Thursday is,
no.
oh, today's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Taco Wednesday.
Wednesday. How could I forget? Yeah. So new episodes tomorrow. So take some notes and we'll talk about it at the next recording.
Yeah, I will.
I like it. Okay. Before I get the heads up that we have like 5 or 10 minutes left, do you want to close this down or do you have anything else you'd like to say for the record?
I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm excited that Seven's still part of this season.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
She's so pretty. Like, tell me your secrets.
I know. Absolutely.
Jerry Ryan, what are your secrets?
Tell us all your secrets.
It's okay if there's surgery.
Totally. You do you, man. Whatever you did, it looks great. All right, here we go. I just got my warning. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Close. You're blocking my window. Okay. That does it for another episode of Rewind. That was Genesis, and we hope you are not too scared to go to bed, either from us talking or just the episode in general. We would like to thank the Trek Geeks Podcast Network for letting us come back and just being patient with us and giving us this platform. And I'd like to thank Haley for letting me basically pull your arm and talk you into doing this again because I really missed it and you knew it meant a lot to me. So thank you. I love you. 5-Year Mission, the music. Thank you so much, Fansets, and everybody listening and everyone who's reached out on Twitter. So excited to have us back. Thank you. You can find, there's no Twitter specifically for the podcast anymore. I just didn't want to manage it on Twitter. It was too much of a pain in the butt. So you can find me at Van Island Sara. Van Island is in Vancouver Island. Add me. It's not always Star Trek related, but we'll have some laughs. Love to hear from you. Are you new to podcasts? Just found out about us because the Rewind business card from STLV was stuck to the bottom of your shoe. Don't know what's just happened and now you're confused, but you want more? Consider joining us on Patreon where you can get a subscriber reward like a t-shirt and a pin. Just do it. We'll be back with another TNG episode soon. And it's got Q in it. One of my most favorite episodes without a doubt. And that's all I'm going to say about that. XOXO. Gossip Girls. Terrible.
We're back.
We're back. I never hit record. Just kidding.
Coconut.